Not every fighter jet is a masterpiece. Some are engineering marvels. And others? Well, they probably shouldn't have left the drawing board. Imagine this. You're flying a tiny fighter jet stored inside a bomber. The concept sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, but it was very real. This was the XF-85 Goblin, a unique and ambitious project developed during the late 1940s. The idea was to create a small, agile fighter jet that could be carried inside a larger bomber aircraft. This would allow the bomber to have its own defense mechanism against enemy fighters without relying on external support. The Goblin was designed to be deployed mid-air, engage in combat, and then return to the bomber. That was the idea behind the XF-85 Goblin, a parasite jet meant to be deployed mid-air. The concept was innovative and daring. The Goblin was small, with a wingspan of just 21 feet and a length of 14 feet. It was powered by a single Westinghouse J-34 turbojet engine, which gave it a top speed of around 650 miles per hour. The Goblin was armed with 4.50 caliber machine guns, making it a formidable opponent in dogfights. The plan was for the Goblin to be carried inside the bomb bay of a B-36 Peacemaker bomber. When enemy fighters were detected, the Goblin would be lowered on a trapeze mechanism and released into the air to engage the enemy. The problem? It was almost impossible to dock back onto the bomber. The docking process was extremely challenging and dangerous. The pilot had to maneuver the Goblin into position beneath the bomber and hook onto the trapeze mechanism. This required precise flying and perfect timing, which was difficult to achieve in the turbulent air created by the bomber's engines. During test flights, pilots found it nearly impossible to successfully dock the Goblin back onto the bomber. The turbulence and the small size of the Goblin made the process extremely risky. Several test flights ended in failure, with the Goblin either missing the trapeze or colliding with the bomber. The idea was scrapped, and so was the Goblin. Despite the innovative concept and the potential benefits, the practical difficulties of docking the Goblin back onto the bomber proved to be insurmountable. The project was officially cancelled in 1949 after only 2 prototypes were built, and a handful of test flights were conducted. The XF-85 Goblin remains a fascinating footnote in aviation history, a testament to the ingenuity and ambition of aircraft designers in the post-World War II era. While the Goblin never saw combat or entered production, it paved the way for future innovations in aerial combat and aircraft design. The lessons learned from the Goblin project helped shape the development of more advanced and practical fighter jets in the years to come. The Soviet answer to the Harrier jump jet was a disaster. The Yak-38, also known as the Forger, was the Soviet Union's attempt to create a vertical takeoff and landing (VTOL) aircraft that could rival the British Harrier. However, the Yak-38 fell short in many areas, leading to a series of unfortunate events and a tarnished reputation. The Yak-38 could take off vertically but had a nasty habit of overheating mid-air and crashing. The aircraft's engines were prone to failure, and the cooling systems were inadequate for the demands placed on them. This led to numerous incidents where the Yak-38 would overheat, causing the pilot to lose control and the aircraft to plummet to the ground. The Soviet engineers tried to address these issues, but the fixes were often too little, too late. Soviet pilots even carried parachutes in case the autopilot ejected them, without warning. The autopilot system in the Yak-38 was notoriously unreliable. In some cases, it would activate the ejection seat without any input from the pilot, sending them hurtling out of the cockpit unexpectedly. This created a sense of unease and distrust among the pilots who flew the Yak-38. Despite these challenges, the Yak-38 remained in service for several years, primarily because there were no better alternatives available at the time. The aircraft was used mainly for training and limited operational roles, but it never achieved the success or reliability of its Western counterpart, the Harrier. The story of the Yak-38 serves as a reminder of the difficulties and complexities involved in developing advanced military technology, especially under the constraints of the Cold War era. The F-104 Starfighter looked fast because it was fast. Designed by Lockheed in the 1950s, this aircraft was a marvel of engineering for its time. It was sleek, with a needle-like fuselage and making it look like a missile with a man in it. The Starfighter could reach speeds of over Mach 2, which is more than twice the speed of sound. Pilots who flew it often described the experience as exhilarating, like riding a bolt across the sky. However, this incredible speed came with significant trade-offs. but it was also dangerously unstable. The F-104 had a very high wing loading, which means the weight of the aircraft was supported by a relatively small wing area. This made it extremely agile but also very unforgiving. Small mistakes could lead to catastrophic consequences. The aircraft's stability issues were compounded by the temperamental engine, which could be prone to flameouts and other mechanical failures. Pilots had to be exceptionally skilled to handle this aircraft, and even then, accidents were not uncommon. Its razor-thin wings control, especially at lower speeds. These wings were designed to reduce drag and allow the aircraft to achieve its incredible speeds, but they also meant that the starfighter had a very high landing speed. This made takeoffs and landings particularly challenging, requiring long runways and precise handling. The thin wings also limited the amount of fuel the aircraft could carry, reducing its range and operational flexibility. Despite these challenges, the F-104's performance at high speeds and altitudes was unmatched for its time, leading to its nickname, the Widowmaker. This ominous moniker was a reflection of the aircraft's high. Many pilots lost their lives flying the F-104, and it became infamous for its deadly reputation. Despite this, the aircraft was beloved by some of its pilots who appreciated its speed and agility. The starfighter's legacy is a complex one, marked by both its groundbreaking achievements and its tragic losses. Despite its flaws, some countries used it for decades. The F-104 was exported to many nations: Germany, Italy, and Japan, where it served in various roles from interceptor to reconnaissance. Each country had its own experiences with the aircraft, and modifications were often made to improve its safety and performance. In some air forces, the starfighter remained in service well into the 1980s, and even the 1990s. Its long service life is a testament to its advanced design, and the adaptability of the Air Force that operated it. The F-104 starfighter remains a fascinating chapter in the history of aviation, a symbol of both human ingenuity and the inherent risks of pushing the boundaries of technology. Not every jet is a success story, but even failures help shape the future of aviation. Which of these planes do you think was the worst idea? Let us know in the comments.